Tonight, we're going to be talking about all of those San Diego Comic-Con reveals and what we feel were the best and the worst for the 2024 San Diego Comic-Con. We'll talk about all of that and more tonight on Geek Dad Live. Hey, everybody, and welcome to a special Geek Dad Live, where tonight we're going to be talking about our best and worst of con for the 2024. Oh, goodness. I got to turn those off at some point in time of San Diego Comic-Con. Joining us tonight are two very distinguished guests. First, he is the host of Gotham City Tonight, as well as one of the hosts of Toy Anxiety. The only member of Toy Anxiety not at the Toy Tubers Unite panel yesterday, so it's only fair he's here tonight. Ryan Doell.
Oh, no, I'm frozen.
Froze right as
I froze right as you did that. No, that's why I didn't go to the panel. I would just freeze.
That doesn't make sense, but okay. Excited to have you here, my friend.
Yeah, excited to be here.
And you invited our next guest last week to have a geek Dan Larson. You know him as the host of Secret Galaxy and Toy Galaxy, and also co-host of Toy Geeks podcast. Dan Larson, welcome to the show.
You ballooned yourself in that open.
We're calling it now. Oh, God. Hello, gentlemen. How are you feeling? We did a red eye tonight, got back. So I'm that post ComicCon glow, but you both didn't go. So how are you all feeling?
I'm rested, relaxed, ready to go. I'm surprised you're even here. I wouldn't have done a show tonight.
Yeah. I got to enjoy all the same news you did from the comfort of my own couch, and it was marvelous.
There is something to armchair comic-conning, but as not being as stressful or whatever, but there is just something to being there and being the energy of the crowds and seeing it in person and just seeing friends and meeting people for the first time, which maybe doesn't sound too appealing to a lot of people, but it's
Look, when I see stuff like, people just happen to like randomly bump into somebody, celebrity, someone they weren't expecting to see, or end up at a panel or in a booth or whatever, like that's the kind of stuff that you can't, it just happens organically at a convention and you can't recreate that with the at-home experience, obviously. And those are the kinds of things that I go like, I kind of do wish I was there.
My biggest celebrity that I ran into was Patton Oswalt was at the bar with us, but very clearly did not want to talk to anybody.
He wasn't at the bar with you. He just happened to be at the same bar.
He was right next to us. And then my dad was like, hey, isn't that? I was like, yeah, it's him, but he looks like he wants to murder somebody, so let's just leave him alone. But he put on a mask and then this big hat, and you couldn't even tell it was him. But anyway, I'm sure he had a great con experience. But anywho, a lot of things to talk about, tons and tons of reveals. And we talked about a few of these at the Toy Tubers Unite panel, which was a ton of fun yesterday. Had an absolute blast. I think it was even better than last year, or our first ever one. So thank you for those that showed up to it. I know the live stream it doesn't quite capture the in-person experience, but still,
I was watching as well. I thought it went great.
Yeah. And then afterwards, people were like, oh, you should take this on tour. So I guess maybe we'll figure out how to do a Toy Tubers Unite nationwide, town to town. Maybe. I don't know.
Very small venues. Yeah.
You'll be over Craig's bullshit real fast.
Language, Joe. We just got started.
I mean that in the nicest way.
All right. Let's say hello to the chat before we jump into everything tonight. We got a lot of people here already. I'm going to do my best to go through this as quick as possible. I also have a pretty cool giveaway, too, for tonight. We got Jason King, Brian Carr, Brian Brink. We got some charts to check out, that's for sure. Renders FX, who I got to meet in person this weekend, which was great. Gady's Toys, Stanley's Toy Channel, Retro Rollout, Matt Bush in the house. Christopher Fakewood Table, Shiny Plastic People, Mint with Car, James Vinipol, Retro Rollout is here. Hans Cholo, Tony Taylor, Jace is here. Jay Combs is here. Smedberg is here. Toykikasaurus is here. Retro Goat is here. Alex Aro is here. Mecha Manblade. Joe Self. Gage is here. Jedi Dan is here. Dora Laxian. So many more. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight to talk SDCC and the giveaway. Okay. A few friends asked me to try and pick up things. I wasn't successful for everyone. I'm sorry. But I was able to walk into the Hasbro booth to buy things on Friday, I think. Friday or Saturday. No, it was Friday. And they had everything, save for like the Magic the Gathering stuff. So I picked up the Cobra Commander Once a Man set for my friend. It was limit 1 per person. But Colleen was with me, so she picked up one as well. So tonight, as a giveaway, I've got the GI Joe Classified Once a Man Cobra Commander, which is a hot ticket item. I don't know what it's going for right now, but maybe it's a lot of money. So I think it's a pretty good giveaway.
So let's start the duck race now and have it go for 45 minutes, and we'll just check in on it.
Well, we need to set. Colleen is dancing. Do you want to just take a bow for getting this real quick? Oh, because you helped me get this.
Oh, is that the thing I got?
Yeah, that's it right there.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
There you go. So you can thank Colleen for this, by the way. But
You're so welcome. Bye.
Anyway, this is a Comic-Con exclusive. Gotten on the floor of Comic-Con. They're going to sell these online, but it's whatever is left over after their sales on the weekend. So, gentlemen, what do you think the light goal should be for this bad boy tonight?
Oh, should we go? How many people are watching?
Already almost 300 already.
Well, let's do 300.
I was going to say at least 2. It's got to be over 2. So somebody, you want to go split the difference, go 250?
Yeah,
I think higher.
Oh, higher, even higher than that. All right.
310, 20,
210,
310.
Like 310 to Coco.
310 to Coco. There it is. Yes. 310 to Coco. All right, there you go. 310 to Coco. 310 likes. That means y'all, you got to start liking right now.
Yeah, you got to log into your alts and
yeah, you got to go ham for Coco. So hit the like button, everybody. Let's get. Look, we jumped up like 30 viewers right now just on that news. So we're giving away a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive GI Joe Classified Cobra Commander Once a Man set. Boom. Let it be known. 310 likes. 310 to Coco. We already have a couple super chats as well. We got Brian Carr, $10 super chat. Jay, for your RGB fun. Glad that the 2000X figures won't be as spendy as RGB. We'll definitely be talking about that tonight. I'm sure, Doler, you said you're already sick of talking about it, even though you haven't even really talked about it yet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
you can already see Toy Anxiety's thumbnail, right? Mondo saves Ghostbusters, and it's going to be the same thumbnail for 5 weeks, just like when they re-released Fright Features, where I had to tell Craig, like, stop putting them on the thumbnail. No one gives a poop.
Here's the thing. In Craig's defense, a thumbnail already made is a lot easier than making a new thumbnail. So, if that works.
I get it, but stop it.
Actually, you could see that I used the same Sam Hain that I cut out of a picture for the Ghostbusters thumbnail in tonight's thumbnail. Because, again, it's just saving time. Okay.
I get it.
Matt Bush with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Matt Bush. There's no bribes for a fast duck. Whatever your duck does. Hopefully, you're
greasing the duck. Yeah.
There's nothing I can do. Craig, I'm still at the library working on next year's material.
Yeah,
Craig,
no, he was funny. I didn't
see. I think there's something to where Craig gets to be not the the host or the MC. He just
the
gets
Leonardo.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Like, so I was more of the MC kind of role, and he got to be, like the person dropping jokes, and I think he was hilarious. He had some great ones.
No, he was great. Did you hear that someone gifted him a Leonardo on the con floor?
No.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I can't remember which one. He was just like, someone gave me a Leonardo, and I was like, because you're Leonardo.
Oh my god. Okay. So much stuff. What do you all want to start with? We got big things like, you want to start with GI Joe, with the Rattler?
Sure. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. All right. Let's start with it, because what's cool about doing this with you all is that I don't know your opinions yet. So we'll get to the share in or at least I get to learn those in real time.
We have them, so we're
but this was dropped on, I believe it was Thursday. I think my days have like blurred together. And very quickly, it's already been funded. It's already hit its first tier. But the long rumored Haslab came true. It was a Cobra Rattler, and it is big. It is beautiful. It is detailed. It has great figures. The patches are a little meh, but whatever. Clearly has resonated with toy collecting fans. Dan, you're a classified fan. What was your thoughts on seeing this?
It's incredibly cool. I know that obviously it had been rumored for a while, and I had heard some whispers about there being some aesthetic updates to it. So I wasn't sure what that meant as far as like how different it was going to look from the actual vintage airplane. And I think it looks pretty darn close. The only real major difference I see is the sort of shape of that gunner bubble station on the back end there. But that's not really a big deal. I mean, otherwise it's just the toy proportions, scaled up to 1/6 instead of or 1/12 instead of 1/18. I think it looks great. I love the foldable wings. That is great for shelf space, but I will probably just be putting it up flat on the wall. Like I do have. I posted a picture the other day.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I already actually have some airplanes. They're 1/18 scale airplanes, but I already have some airplanes that are basically the exact same size, and I have them just sort of hung with some fishing line flat against the wall, and that's probably what I'll do with this. I think they put just about everything into it that you could put into it without actually making it like a drone that you could fly around or something.
Yeah.
Okay, I am not math, so 1/18. That's 3-inch?
Correct. That's the 4-inch scale. Yeah.
Okay. This is where I start to get confused, because now everyone's starting to use that. Like, oh, it's 1/12. I'm like, what? It's just 6-inch, right? Is that what you're saying? Like,
yes.
Where did this come from? When did this start? Is this your fault, Dan?
No. It's always been 1/18. It's always been 1/18. That's just the O-ring 4-inch scale, whatever. It's always
okay.
1/18.
Okay. I'll get the hang of this. I'm just.
Well, I mean, that's for like model kits and stuff, right? Like, is this in trains? Is that where
trains? I feel like that's a. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a train guy, so I can't.
I like.
Can't help you there. But it looks really cool. The stand is great. All the lights are great. There's part of me that's like, if I could just get Wild Weasel, I would just get Wild Weasel. I don't know that I need the whole airplane. But all the Haslabs, all this kind of crowdfunding stuff at this point, I don't know that I even want the thing. I just want the experience of the thing. Check it out, be able to touch it myself, play with the lights and sounds and whatever else they come with, and have it for a bit, and then just keep the figures and move the vehicle. That's probably what I'm gonna end up doing with my Hiss, is just keeping the figures and moving the vehicle.
Interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, because you're very much or famously so an action figure collector, not a play sets, vehicles, the whole.
Well, look, these companies are not going to draw any lines. They're just going to keep pushing until we say that's enough. Okay, we can't do it anymore. Like,
that mistake there. I think that has come to fruition there.
We have to draw those lines and say, I think I'm out. And my biggest fear with this Rattler is that next year they're going to be like, okay, it's Sky Striker time. And that scales up even as a bigger vehicle because a vintage Sky Striker is longer than a vintage Rattler. So, we'll see.
But if they did it, you're getting it. Like, there's no Dan Larson.
Well, you got it. I don't know. I thought, I was like, if it's $300 or less, I was hoping for $250 on this thing.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I thought the price was reasonable, like what, $25 more than the Hiss. It's bigger than the Hiss, significantly bigger.
Sure, and it comes with a ton of stuff and 3 figures and all that. But still, I was like 300. That was okay. But now it's like 325, and we're like, all right, well, what's you can't. The corporations they're always going to push, and if the next one's 350, whose fault is that?
Yeah. It's true.
Us. It's our fault.
I am absolutely part of the problem.
Well, okay. So you're getting it. You are officially.
Yes, I am in. I am in on the Rattler. Yes, I have not backed it yet. So when Brian puts up his chart, when you put up Brink's chart, I'll back it right then. So he has to fix it.
Brian does it manually. I mean, once he inputs the data, but Brian Brink does that manually. And at the Hasbro breakfast, chatted with Emily for a while, and she would introduce me as like Geek Dad Life. He has the charts that we all use for our presentation.
Nice. Nice.
Does that mean you get a free Rattler?
No.
Oh,
if you get a free Rattler, Hasbro Brian Brink. I will give you his contact information.
No, they need to cut Brian a check, is what they need to do.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like, it's just like, come on, let's.
But okay, Dollars. This has, I think you could say, technically a roof and a ceiling, or a floor.
I don't see it. I don't see it on a floor. It doesn't come with a landing pad, so I don't know where it's supposed to land. So I don't know what you're gonna do, Jay. And there's no hanger for it to park it, so I don't know. You're in trouble, I guess. I just so everyone knows, even though I don't collect classified, I love GI Joe, which is why I haven't collected classified, because I think I went so hard when they did the anniversary line on their 1/18th scale.
Got it.
Yeah, right. And I went so hard on that like when they started doing 6-inch, I was like, I can't do this again. But I did end up getting like always a couple, like got Zartan, and I was about to do like, I'm going to get just the Dreadnoks, but that's a slippery slope too. So I stuck just with Zartan. That's because that's my number one dude. The rest are just kind of like, I'm just going to have to sit there, and I just live vicariously through everyone else and get very excited when people get excited. I think this is a beautiful toy line, and I think this is an awesome Haslab. If I had if Vancouver was affordable to live in, and I could own a house, then I would be 100% in on this line, and I would just turn the garage into a hangar.
Hey, look, I love classified. I love GI Joe, and I'm not even 100% in on the line. I am already at a point where I'm picking and choosing the things I want. This is just something where I'm like, I'm just the mark for this.
You're right. But this is like super cool. And like, I think, Dan, I know what you're talking about. There was like some sort of leak with like a Baroness pinup sticker you could put on it, and like
there was a couple of I don't know where it was, I don't know where it came from, but there was one purported leak that had some like market testing and whatever, and it had 3 or 4 different sort of builds to the fuselage of the Rattler, and it was like, some of that's cool, some of that's weird, whatever.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. And I was kind of like, and that's kind of fun to do that, like, but again, these come with so much, and for just under 350.
And I'm going to be honest, I'm already just in the mindset of this is already fully backed and all the tiers are unlocked.
Yeah.
I assume this is going to get fully backed and all the tiers are going to get unlocked. So in my head, it's 325 and you're getting all 3 figures and all the stuff and everything.
That's how I'm looking at it the exact same way.
Yeah.
Like,
we'll look at the charts, but yeah, it's comfortably on the way to.
And can you answer this? I don't know if I really saw this clearly. Is there lights on the inside of the fuselage panel where you put the damaged the bullet holes? Because it looks like it is. So from some of the pictures that I've seen, it looks like there's lights in there.
The lights are right there in the cockpit, so I don't see. Oh yeah, right there.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's like some cool Photoshop deco or if there's actually lights on the inside of that fuselage.
That's cool.
On the floor,
I didn't even notice that.
They had this damaged panel on it when it was in display in the display case, but they didn't have lights on to see that. But in this picture, it looks like that's what it's doing. Joe Self says yes.
That's a cool feature.
It's a damn cool feature. But yeah, it looks phenomenal. And seeing it in person It's massive. It is at least like a his tank and a half long, and then you have the wingspan. That's the only reason why I think I am not 100% in on this, because I already have the his tank. I have the dragonfly. I kind of have my vehicle versus vehicle thing. And that would net me enough space to display most of the classified figures that I want to keep and have a collection of. If I add a Rattler, that's taking up more real estate that I don't think I have, at least in my mind. So it's either maybe what you're doing, Dan, which is get rid of the his tank and then like have Rattler versus Dragonfly.
Well, I didn't say I was getting rid of it right now. I meant like someday.
Yeah. I feel like it would have to be where I have one good guy, Haslab, and one bad guy.
Yeah. I totally get that. Yep. Yeah, I know. I just I sold my ferret because I was like, I don't actually want to have all these vehicles. My Vamp. I'm looking at you, Vamp. You're on the edge here.
Ooh, yeah, that's tough.
I just don't. I don't. The way I set up my collection, the way I designed my wall here, it's like there is no place for vehicles. So I have I have 3 1/18 scale airplanes up against the wall. I have my Sky Striker on the stand on the top of a shelf. And then the closest thing I get to vehicles from there on out is like Serpentor's air chariot, some horses. The Hiss is up there, and then it's like Battle Cat. Is Battle Cat a vehicle?
Steed.
Well, no more than the horses.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right. But I can't. I want the experience of the Rattler. I can't.
Yeah. If Classified makes a Buzzbore, I'll buy that.
You heard it here first. Heard it here first. Heard it.
It's ridiculous. It's silly. I love it.
225 likes currently. Nearly 400 people watching right now. So get your likes in. If you don't know, giving away a Comic-Con exclusive Coco Snake Man version. Once we hit 310 likes, 310 to Coco
with lenticular box art.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it. It's still sealed in the box, but it's going to be, I'm going to leave it sealed in the box. Make sure when whoever gets it, it's super duper fresh.
I just want to give everyone a heads up because I am running for vice president with Kamala Harris. It's going to be Harris Doell 2024, and I'm going to bring back holograms. That's part of the big thing. So the lenticular packaging, be happy you get it this year because next year there's going to be holograms.
Give her the branding. Call them Kamalagrams. Kamalagrams.
Kamala.
Oh my god. Visionaries for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Free healthcare and visionaries. Go.
What's the man? How do you enter? Don't worry. At the end of the show, we're gonna do a duck race. I'll give you a little Google form. You'll put in your YouTube username. Every username will be put in, and you'll get your own little rubber ducky that will flow down a stream, and one will win this sweet Comic-Con exclusive, fresh from the con. I packed it in a box, checked it as luggage, brought it with me for the red eye from San Diego to Raleigh today, folks.
He's gonna milk that red eye thing, everyone. So just.
I just want everyone to know if I sound a little loopy or I'm a little whatever, like what's going on with Jay, it's because I haven't slept in 30 hours or whatever.
Did you at least eat some fruit while you were there?
I did eat some fruit.
Okay.
So I went to the grocery store. I bought some bananas. I bought some apples. Is that good enough for you?
Yeah, that's fine. Stay healthy.
Kamalograms. There we go. All right. Brian brings charts. Let's check out how those are doing. And it's doing just about as good as any of the other Haslab classified sets. For what it's worth, and I'll put a link in the chat right now. There we go. Shelf Presence just became a new GDL family member. Let's give you the old...
I got family.
Welcome. You got family with the GDL family. Welcome. Do I have water? Yes, I do have a glass of water. For those that joined me on my over 2-hour hanging out on the floor preview night, I forgot to bring water. So by the end of it, my mouth was so dry. Anyway,
great.
Sorry. It made for compelling television.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was good television, but it was compelling. But it's pacing slightly a touch below where the Dragonfly and the Hiss were at, but still, it's already over the Cobra Patches tier. If it is anywhere similar to the previous two, it should hit the Gunner tier somewhere around 15 to 20 days. And by the time you get the last day spike, it should, easily eclipse the Pilot Baroness at 18,000. Gentlemen, any cause for concern by how the chart is playing out, even as a touch below where the other two have been so far?
I don't think so. No. I like I said, in my mind, it's already unlocked all the tiers. It's just a matter of the days going by.
And the thing is, we've heard this, from Hasbro teams before. Like the execs that put a rubber stamp on these things are usually like, well, how successful were the other ones? And clearly, the GI Joe classifieds, would you say, are like the most successful, like the least, like the most drama-free crowd funds? Like Doel, I feel like it's almost a foregone conclusion that these things will do well compared to some of the other ones.
Oh, yeah, 100%. This is their brand, right? GI Joe is owned by Hasbro. They don't have to jump through any hoops. They only need their own approval. And they don't have to pay anybody to get these made. So they're going to be a better deal, and they're going to be able to go all out. So yeah, if you're a GI Joe classified collector, you're doing well.
I love it. We're currently at 288 likes. See, we should have like 400 likes. We should have done something like that. Over 400 people watching right now. So hit the like buttons, everybody. All right. Let's keep moving on. Let's go to a crowd fund that isn't up yet, but I feel like had almost a completely opposite reaction to it on the convention floor at the Toy Tubers panel. We did like raise your hands, and just about everyone raised their hand for the GI Joe Classified. Only 2 people out of the whole crowd raised their hand for this one. Yes, it is the Snake Lair. And I gotta be honest, I'm not one to lean on negativity, but when I saw this thing, and as someone who loved the concept art and voted for this was my number 1 vote getter, this is how I felt inside. Because it's gigantic and it doesn't really look anything like the sketch. I have the sketch. These are the slides from Toy Tubers Unite because I'm lazy. Work's already been done. But and I'll pull that up to you real quick. That's the sketch. That's what we all voted for.
Oh, yeah, cool. You're right. Okay.
Right? It looks like you'd think maybe a little smaller than Castle Grayskull. Like cool 70s
somewhere
vibe.
Between Fright Zone. Somewhere between Fright Zone and
Grayskull. Yeah. It has, single kind of clamshell fold action going on. And then what we end up with is this thing is massive. If you haven't garnered or how big it is by the pictures, like I would say it's maybe a touch or 2 smaller than the Eternia playset, which is insane. And it looks really, really busy. It doesn't even come close to the sketches. What was y'all's thoughts on seeing this for the first time?
Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I haven't been in on any of the. I didn't even vote. I figured I had no snake in the fight, so I wasn't going to even bother voting for any of it. I'm not collecting it. I don't have Eternia. I have a vintage Grayskull in my collection and a vintage Snake Mountain. Those are in a box in the basement. I don't even have them out on display. As everybody knows, I don't collect Masters of the Universe, so it's it's not something I was really. If you had showed me this, I would never have known without all the people talking about it. I would not have known that it didn't match the actual artwork that was put out there. That said, I know that it does not match, and I know what people have been saying about it. And I watched your the Toy Tubers panel, so I heard Mr. Pixel Dan talking about it. And it's surprising. It's surprising to see that many people be that disappointed with this, because I can't help but wonder if you had never seen that original illustration and they had just said, hey, we're going to do a snake playset, would this have been okay? Or is it only in the context of having seen and thought about it being a simpler thing that this suddenly feels too much?
It's a great question.
That's
Because I can understand this isn't what I voted for. I thought it was going to be between Grayskull and that's what I was thinking at the same time, Doel. I was like, okay, this is like a medium-sized playset. This isn't an Eternia thing. It's not even a Snake Mountain thing. It's smaller. Yeah. But so I get that. This sort of, and bait and switch isn't even the right term, as they said. This is just, they threw together some artwork. This is what it could look like. Sure. This isn't final. And then they come out with this. But if you didn't know anything about any of that, would you be interested in this in and of itself?
I would hope so, Jay. For all the things that people talk about, what they want in a playset, why don't playsets should have jail cells? Playsets should have trapdoors. It needs like floors,
an elevator,
right?
One microphone.
I see a roof there. It's got everything that everyone's been complaining that modern playsets don't have, unless of course people were comparing it to Imaginext. Which, by the way, Imaginext for adult collectors sounds freaking amazing.
Not a bad idea.
Because those play sets are awesome. I don't care if they're for 2-year-olds. They're awesome. They are. I
really think there's a market out there for any third party, anybody who wants to jump on this. Like, there's lots of great diorama makers out there and lots of, all that sort of thing. But I think if somebody just wants to start mass producing just the shells, like, open up your Castle Grayskull. It's the 2-piece shell. It's just vacuum formed with a couple of colors of paint on it that act as shelves themselves. I really think that's all adult collectors need.
I think that's true as well. And actually another good thing too, if you did the same thing, we gave it the slots like a classic carrying case, like the old Darth Vader carrying cases, so that people who take their stuff out, let's say you want to like switch your stuff up, you've got storage.
Well, because the biggest complaint, I think, with Snake Mountain ultimately was if you display it with the outside out, there's only like 4 places to put figures. Like, so it doesn't even really act as a good shelf.
Right. Didn't even think of that. That's a brilliant idea.
I think that is a absolutely fantastic idea. Right. Oh, by the way, speaking, maybe you don't want to get this Cobra thing or snake thing, but you all have a chance to win this Coco Commando.
He's a professional
tonight, because we have 317 likes. We have unlocked the Comic-Con exclusive giveaway for tonight. So if you really want it, you got to hang around till the end of the show tonight. That's when you'll be able to submit your names to join the duck race.
We're eligible, right? I'm eligible. I can enter.
Yes, Dan, technically,
all right.
Anybody is eligible as long as you put in your YouTube handle and you're in the chat. So as long as you're that, you're good to go.
Does that come with Con Crud on it? Did you watch it?
I fought I got a sinus infection like my first 2 days out there. So no, I'm not sick, but my nose has been giving me fits the whole time, actually. Again, anybody can enter in Crackpot Sports. This is my father, by the way, who does not collect toys. He usually just makes fun of me collecting toys. And this is
that's not the boy he raised. He didn't raise no toy collector.
My sister, by the way, they're both in San Diego right now. They must be watching at home.
Nice.
But anywho, it's something about changing the weather. It's drier in San Diego. Just kind of been running, but I'm actually feeling really good, other than being half awake. Okay. I want to put this in the chat because who knows at the panel, maybe people weren't as gung-ho Motu fans, maybe the people that were there in attendance. So I got to know from you all in the chat. I know that this audience, there's a lot of Motu fans here. But are you going to back?
Are you going to stop complaining and just buy it?
And so just be honest. Put in the chat. And let us know if you're gonna back the snake lair. But for me personally, it's too big. It's way too big. I built a shelf for my Eternia and my Castle Grayskull and my Snake Mountain, and it's pretty full. Like I would have room for the snake lair if it was slightly smaller than a Grayskull or a Snake Mountain, but I do not have room for this. I'm not even remotely close to having room.
Jay, how about this? I was thinking this about yourself for a hot second. Your kids like to play with Motu, correct?
Absolutely. Yes.
Would you get this for your kids?
Not even then, because this shelf, it's a really heavy duty shelf. They go in this closet where I have it displayed and they just play with it there. Like adding this doesn't add any more play value than an Eternia, a Castle Grayskull, and a Snake Mountain already give them currently.
Could you imagine being a kid and being like, I don't need that. I have everything else. Couldn't imagine. Couldn't imagine.
Hey, props to them for expanding the lore, right?
Yes.
Like you can use this with all your brand new He-Man Ninja Turtles crossover figures that are all going to be sporting snake armor. This is brand symmetry here.
I'm using my battle beasts on that.
Synergy, sorry, not symmetry. Same thing.
Kenergy.
All weekend long I've been hearing how big this place is and how big the Rattler is. With no Michael Scott, it's been weird. I'll give you one. Here we go. Pity, that's what she said.
That's what she said.
There we go. But it's funny, but even still, the Rattler, which is huge, is, I would say, 4 times smaller than this, especially if you have the wings up.
Wow.
Just in terms of footprint.
Did you get a sense? I know you've seen the Dragonfly in person, Jay. I would have to look up the dimensions right now. The Dragonfly is longer than the Rattler is.
Yes,
right? Just from nose to tail. Okay.
Yep, it is. I don't know by how much, but they had them basically side by side. And it is. But it takes by surface area though. It takes up a lot less space because it's very narrow.
As a kid, I would love to have this. As an adult with limited space, no. But as a kid,
it's got tons of play features. Yeah, it's got tons of play features. It's by all means is a good play set.
It does check all the boxes that people are looking for in a play set that they're still just going to put on their shelf and never play with. It still checks all those boxes.
All right, we almost have 200 votes in the poll. That means a lot of y'all voted. So I'm gonna
have you all hit the like button?
Not because we're almost 461 people right now. And we have 337 likes. So not everybody is hit the like button, folks. Make sure you hit the like button. Okay, gentlemen, I don't know if you're watching the poll or not. So if you have, no spoiler. What would you think the yes versus no's? What's our percentages for the snake lair?
Oh, just based on the Toy Tubers panel audience. I'm going to go 90-10.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, it's sitting here watching chat. I'm gonna go a little more 80-20. I'm gonna go 80-20. 80 no, 20 yes.
Dan, you're almost on the money. 80% no, 19% yes. So there's some point difference there between the two. But
nicely done.
20. And I think Pixel Dan said it best at the Toy Tubers panel. It's a vote for your wallet with your wallet situation, as any of these things are.
Well, and I think this would be a good segue toward, I don't know what we've got coming up next here, if you're going to stay with Masters of the Universe, if you want to roll over to Marvel Legends. But I think we're reaching a point with all this crowdfund stuff where are we going to start to see this transition over from legit crowdfund situations where there's the pressure from Mattel or Hasbro to hit that $350 price point, or are we going to transition over to Dragon Man style?
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
It is, right? And that's where I think it needs to be, right? Because this and you could see how maybe in their rooms, like, well, this is crowdfund, so it has to be big, it has to be this much money to do the blah blah blah, and then they kind of pump it up. And so if this thing doesn't go through, it doesn't work, to your point, Dan, they may start taking the route that the Marvel Legends team is now taking with some of their releases.
Yeah, I gotta believe if they could have just taken a pre-order approach to the Black Series Rancor, then there's hundreds of them out there, if not thousands of them out there, as opposed to killing it because of all the tiers and all the other stuff and the campaign against it and all the nonsense.
Yeah, I think that would have been the best way to go. And I think what's really great about what Marvel Legends is doing with Dragon Man as well, but it's now you can, when you have something that's not so big that it needs to be a Haslab, but you also just can't throw it in the main line. I think that's perfect. And I think Marvel Legends needs that, and maybe Classifieds will need that too with some in between vehicles. I think more than anything else that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think out of should be, here we go. So no new Haslabs for Marvel Legends through the next year, I believe is what they said at the panel. But they did say they're going to take pre-orders on this kind of upsize character for everybody to bid on. Dolars, I think you buy everything Marvel Legends. What was
I try not to, but then I do. I try. But it happens. It happens.
By the way, thank you, Twark. Does such a great job, like with the photo. I mean, so many people do. Pixel Dan, like I told this to him in person, like doing my own little whatever form of coverage that I do there. The fact that he can do so many videos of high
Hatter too.
Quality. But like, say even take Hatter, and again, I love Hatter. He's making toys and selling toys, but like Pixel Dan's doing like however many videos a day, like shooting them, editing them, putting them up. It's incredible. Toy Art going and taking all these high quality pictures and then posting them online so that people can go back and look at them. To all the people that do the coverage for the con, nothing but the utmost respect for y'all.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Dolars, what was your thoughts?
First off, I think the whole made to order, like you've got here's your 2 weeks for pre-order. After that, that's it. I hope this works out for them, because I think this is a really good idea. I think as long as they give people enough prep time for when this is coming and not just dropping it, I think that'll help people too, to be like, hey, it's going to cost this much. It's dropping in 3 weeks. If you want it, figure out figure out how you're going to do it and then do it. Right. As long as I think if you give people enough prep time and get over what could potentially either be sticker shock or just the shock of, oh my God, this is new, and 2 weeks I can't get my ducks in a row.
Yeah.
Heads up, don't forget to give a like, and so you can enter the duck race. And
we're over 368 likes, over 500 watching right now. So
nice.
Coming, folks.
So yeah, no, I think this is good. I do want, of course I want this. This is so cool. Dragon Man's awesome. He's again one of those characters. Even the old Toy Biz Fantastic Four Dragon Man still goes for for Toy Biz, goes for a lot of money still. So this is pretty cool.
And there's the Dan Larson figure right next to it. I didn't realize.
That's how I'm setting it up.
But it looks great, and I agree. I think this is a great option. I think people are calling it like the Super 7 approach or something. Like, yeah, as long as there's enough time, I think it's great. Dan, what's your thoughts?
I think it's the right move. I think the Marvel Legends team was looking into the future and saying, do we really think we have more things because I think Giant Man was a stretch. After the Hell Charger, they were like, we don't really have another Galactus, another Sentinel, another, there's nothing else like that. People would say like, oh, the Eternals, not the Eternals,
Celestials, or
the Celestials. Sorry,
yeah,
that's what I was going for. So Fing Fang Foom maybe, but I could also see Fing Fang Foom fitting this format. I don't think there's enough there. Like Giant Man did not need to be that giant. I really feel like they pushed that just to make it cross that Haslab line of price and all that other stuff.
And I think that's why it also had no tiers, because remember that was the one where it's like, this is it, 100 and something bucks.
Yep.
Buy it or you don't. There's no tiers. What you get, like I think they had the face tiers, but they had no extra figures, like the swappable heads. And I don't even think it made to the Skrull one. So it might end up being one of the most rarest Haslabs to get
Sure.
this giant man, right? If,
Yeah,
if
but-
that's a thing that you're into, you
Yeah.
want that kind of flex.
Yeah, so I think they sort of looked into the future and said, we need to figure something else. There's definitely an audience here. There's a customer out there that is loyal and willing to spend X amount of dollars per year, per quarter, whatever. Can we shift this to a pre-order mode like Super 7 does it, as opposed to constantly trying to build up all these Haslabs and then sweating that for 30 days?
Yeah.
I am curious to see there's got to be a minimum order quantity here, though.
Yes.
Like they can't throw something out here and then sell 25 of them. Like,
right. But I think Dragon Man will do well. I do. I just something in my gut that just says I think this one's going to be a.
what do you think ballpark price is?
I think it's gonna be over. It's either gonna be right under $100 or just over $100.
Is that's
That's
Dan doesn't
low.
like it.
I think
Right?
that's low.
Sorry,
I think
I'm thinking.
I think it's-
You think like a
Well-
$150 for this? What are we thinking?
Yeah,
Not,
I think,
well, I don't know if
think-
it's going to be 150. I was just good. Sorry, I'm probably thinking in Canadian prices too, because you got to remember our Marvel Legends now. Like when you go to a Canadian store, it's like $45.
yeah, I'm thinking 150 minimum.
Ooh,
150.
that's a
Oh.
lot.
Okay.
That's a lot. But
Got
hell,
you got 18-inch wingspan. That ain't free.
Oh, that's it. Okay. He should have came with. I hope he should come with folded up wings. We should learn from gargoyles.
He's got a 12-inch bendy tail.
Yeah. Bendy technology. It's an older art form.
That's right. You need to bring in this retired craftsperson to do that.
You know,
Who
and if it
understands
comes
the
out
art.
next year, I can make sure there's holograms on that packaging
Like-
too.
Oof. Yeah, I think 150 is pushing it, but who knows?
What do you think? What are the ones? What do they go for on the second? What's the Toy Biz one go for right now? Like $400 still?
You're right.
Gosh,
You're right.
Yeah, it's,
And
it
that
is
thing's like
expensive.
half the size of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
fair.
And I do
That's
want to point out, Mr. Ryan Clark is pointing out that there are better retailers than Toys R Us in Canada. And yes, 100% there is. But I'm just saying, like, if it turns out, if it wasn't exclusive, like a Toys R Us or Target exclusive, as you call it down in the States, it's just astronomically high. It sucks.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. I do like the idea of some type of MOQ minimum, but like making that public, so it is a little bit of, not full charts, but it's a little bit of chart magic of like. But maybe people hate that and they just want to. Would you want it to be known or unknown? Like Super 7, sometimes it's just like you don't know. It's like, oh, we didn't get it. Like, what did we not get?
Right.
Didn't hit it. Sorry. Or do you
No,
want to know what it has to sell to get it?
I think there has to be some transparency there. I think you have to know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they could just keep moving the goalpost.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, I agree.
So I think there needs to be a definitive target, and that's what you aim for.
Okay, good to know. Crash says Toy Biz is going for around 200 on eBay. I just put mine up for 215. Was that but did you just put up after this was announced?
Like, did the market just get flooded with them?
Yeah.
I'm curious now. Let's go to old Evil Bay. Just now in the flip if you know or don't know. Let's see. Dragon
Is Hatter going to trademark that? We can't say that anymore.
Oh, that's true.
We owe him 10 cents every time we say it.
I said BAY, not BAE.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was in line and ran into Mega J and he had the figures. Like, oh, cool. I'll take some pictures and post. And then I was like, wait, you don't have a flip or social yet? Like, and I texted Hatter. I was like, dude, like you gotta make a social for this or something. I gotta be able to promote it. Like, oh yeah, I should do that.
Yeah, you should.
Anyway,
I even think he was caught off guard at the popularity of Flipper.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. He was not ready.
Let's see. Dragon Man, Toy Biz. Here we go.
Chad Stewart is saying, sorry, while you're doing that, looking it up.
Yeah.
Chad Stewart is saying, I want him to have the glasses like he wears in the Fantastic Four comics. I believe that was one of the renders, was him with the glasses and the coat.
Yep.
All right, let's see. Sold.
That's
Prices. Okay. What?
Ooh, price is way down.
Yeah, actually. That was July 22nd, so that was before we knew about this.
That person's like, God Dang it!
220. Well, that was sold for less than that. $60. It's broken because it says redescription.
Redescription, yeah.
Yeah. It's missing a wing and a tongue, and it's
75.
255 in package there.
Oh yeah, 255 trio 6.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
So
I mean, even you gotta remember when they put out Giant Man Haslab, that was cheaper than what the Build-A-Figure was going for. The Toy Biz Build-A-Figure was going for as well.
Sure.
Right. So I mean,
and we don't know yet, do we? Is this like the Black Series figures? Is this going to have premium paint applications?
I would assume so.
It's such a stupid upsell.
Right. That was
premium.
Black Series. Poor Black Series sometimes.
I know. They're such nice people.
They are. Is it based? What entertainment is this based off of? Does anyone know?
How is it referencing the entertainment? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. If we think $150 is too much for an action figure, how about $202 for these real Ghostbusters 2-packs? So I don't know, Dole. Like, how do we want to approach this discussion?
Okay. So, okay. I think one thing we have to remember is that these are not the master toy licensees, so there's a lot of hoops they got to jump through. So let's just get that out of the way.
Yep. Dan, why are we showing this? Is there a reason we're showing this?
This is the action. This is action. Storm Collectibles. Ken Eagle from Gotcha Man.
Okay.
Do you know how much this figure cost?
How much?
I didn't pay this much. This figure retail price on this was $100.
Oh. Okay.
And I will happily drop that for the other 4 members of the team.
Ooh, that's good to know. Team. And remember, Storm Collectibles is also a premium toy line.
It is. But that's what Mondo is intending to deliver, is premium toy line type stuff. And they also recognize the size of the customer base.
Right.
Or something like that.
That's true. That's absolutely a great point. That is the clearest line of sight to this stuff is if they give you that level of collectible that feels like we give Super 7 crap for $55 figures, but we give them crap sometimes because, well, they've completely abandoned paint applications.
You give them the same kind of crap you just did to Mattel for the you said we were getting one thing, but now we got something else.
Exactly, right.
Correct?
We're doing these renders and they just don't look like that when it's $55. Right. So we don't have these in hand yet. So but this is their first pass at it. So you get a bit of grace on that, and the figures and the painting level and detail they showed it on the Comic-Con floor was incredible.
Yep.
And I think it was at that level.
Yeah. Shout out to Alex for these beautiful sculpts as well.
Sculpts are incredible. Because it's the way they capture the personality, I think, is the best part. Like, there's the lighting, the way it hits their faces, and just looks like it's an animated cell come to life in 3 dimensions. But Dolers, you were getting at the licensee of it all. Is that what
Yeah, and so I got a feeling price always has to, like, when someone else has the license, plus it's another corporation that owns the license, you're kind of like renting out that IP and you need to pay for that. So I think that also becomes part of the price tag, whether we like it or not. I don't have the specifics, but it's just kind of like, I've become friends with enough people in the toy industry to know that it's like, there's sometimes a middleman in there that gets, that says, hey, no, it has to be this. And that's that. Yeah. However, if anyone saw the size of these, like if you're like, you might be looking at the Egon figure and going, that's not worth $100. Maybe that could be a Super 7 price of $50 with all the gimmicks and the gloves and the ghosts.
Yeah.
However, the ghosts that it comes with, like the Boogeyman and Sam Hain, those are probably worth the extra that you'd be paying anyway. So I don't know. I feel like there's a balance there because those ghosts are massive.
Yes.
And to scale as they are in the cartoon. Like this is like a definitive toy line for an animated series, the same way it is for TMNT and NECA.
And I want to clarify too, because I don't know if everybody has followed every video that's been made or every panel that's been had or listens to every time you guys have Mondo on your show.
Yeah.
They will be selling, as I understand it, the actual 4 Ghostbusters will be sold individual in single packs, not just in the double packs with the ghosts.
Correct. Yeah. But I think the double packs with the ghosts are
that's the best value.
That's the best bang for your buck.
Because I wouldn't disagree, because it's 101 for the single packs for the Ghostbusters with the companion ghost. So Egon would come with this intro blue ghost, and Peter would come with Slimer, proton packs, ghost traps, all the accessories and stuff. And those would be available kind of on all of the retailers that sell Mondo stuff. And then the 2 packs at 202 will be Mondo timed exclusives. So there will be a period of time where you can buy as many as you want, and then they'll send those out.
Mondo needs to get better at giving people a heads up what day things are going on sale, and not just dropping them on a Tuesday. They got Craig made a good point here too. I don't know if you saw it. Toy anxiety. Sam Hain is as tall as the 1/6 Jubilee.
Yeah, he's very tall. I don't think these images are to scale. Like if you saw him in person, Sam Hain, and you get just like in the show, is he kind of towers over the Ghostbusters. The 202 price feels weird. It is weird. And to me, if you were at the panel, they kind of alluded, because they're doing 1/12 Motu. They announced that at ComicCon. I have a slide for that too. And there was a reasonable question was like, well, are these going to be $101 or $202 for a 2-pack as well? And the answer was no, it's going to be less than these packs. And they mentioned just, different licensor, different, approvals it has to go through. And so and I see a lot of people saying that it's just not worth it, whatever. I won't disagree with you. Like if this is too much to spend on it, then I'm not going to argue with you. And I think it is a lot of money, but don't think it as a case of like Mondo being like, I'm going to try and stick it to the Ghostbusters fans. They're suckers. I'm going to charge $202 per figure. I'm sure there was a lot of hoops that had to jump through. When you have Hasbro that has the master toy license, that means they have to approve it. You have Sony, you have Ghost Corps. You probably have a lot of different people you got to get approvals for, and a lot of people that have different opinions on how things should go, or prices that need to be set, or what things can be in the packs. And I applaud Mondo for at least saying, even though you're making us jump through all these hoops, whatever those hoops are, I don't know, including this 101 for a single figure, 202 for a 2-pack, weird hoops. At least they've chosen to make it instead of just not doing it at all.
Right. Go ahead.
This is a 40-year-old cartoon.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's coming from a fan of 40-year-old cartoons, right? Like my whole 80% of my wall over here is built on 40-year-old cartoons. So like I'm there with you. But let's be realistic about how big the fan base actually is for this kind of product.
Yeah,
Hasbro, look, you can love or hate whatever Hasbro's done with the license, but they have people who look at the numbers and say, do we think we can make money off of this stuff? Even with a movie in the theaters, there's barely any movement on the merchandise side of this stuff, right? Mondo has moved mountains, as I understand it, to make this happen, to make these a reality. And I get, $200 seems like a lot of money, and it absolutely is. But I personally, I have no access to any of the data, the spreadsheets and stuff. But I think that's the only way this happens. The only way this happens.
I agree with that.
I'm not getting them. I'm not a Ghostbusters fan, so I don't really care. But
right, I'm gonna get them because again, these get this. This is my demographic of fandom, age demographic that is. So it's the man, I've been dreaming of not just the guys like this, but the ghosts.
The watcher, he just made a comment in chat. It doesn't matter if the fan base is big or small. They shouldn't be that much. What are you basing that on? Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. You base it on how many units do you think you can move? If you think you can only move 100 units, they're going to be really expensive. If you think you can move 100,000 units, they're not going to be as expensive. How many do you think they can use?
Yeah.
This move, I mean, come on.
No, I don't think I completely agree, right? It is a thing. MOQ is a thing, whether we like it or not.
Mondo wants this to succeed. Trust me.
Yes.
They absolutely do.
They didn't like, hey, let's announce RGB and let's see how much it fails.
Yeah, like come on.
They're not doing that.
They want this to succeed very much.
Right?
Mondo RGB figures. Okay, I'm gonna put a poll in the chat. I'm gonna do yes for the 101 price, or yes for the 202 price, and then no. Right? Is that fair? Or should I do a maybe? Maybe shouldn't count. You're either yes or no, right?
That's right.
And yes, chat, of course, lower price moves more units. But how many units do you think is going to move for real Ghostbusters? The audience, the fan base is not that big. You cannot use McFarlane as a comp here.
Yeah.
The thing with McFarlane is he owns the company, and
what license are we talking about? DC? Superman? Are we talking about Batman?
yeah, which is infinitely larger than Ghostbusters. It is. It is.
I hate to say it, and this is gonna hurt some feelings in the chat. Sorry, Craig. Ghostbusters is not Star Wars, and fans need to stop comparing it to that. And I've said that a lot.
The movies have done just well enough, right? Whatever the metric is for success there. They made 2 movies now in the last 4 years. I don't remember the last one came out, and I assume
came out this summer.
Yeah, right. So I assume there might be also a next one, and that would be fantastic.
Yes.
But there's no new animation. There's nothing there to reach out and grab the kids. So whoever's running those numbers in the back is saying there's nothing there. Like, we can pull the movies off, but that's all we've got.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's fair. Let's look at some of the chats. I think Craig, I assume this is Craig in the Yes Have Some account.
He's just switching. He's bouncing around accounts.
He's
like, now I have to talk about this under Yes Have Some because we're the official Ghostbusters podcast.
He's just making sure he gets all his likes in.
Yeah.
There we go. 520 people watching right now. So everybody hit the like button. All right. Yes Have Some. Fantastic Ghostbusters podcast, by the way. Check it out.
Yes.
Here's a better way to think about it. GB is $65, small ghost is $35, big ghost is $100. And I do think if you separate it out that way in terms of what you're getting in the set, it can soften the blow a little bit. You just have to commit to more stuff and more expenditure. But I do think this kind of quarterly approach, as they've kind of shown it, where in the fall you can get Peter Slimer and Sam Hain. In Q1 you can get Egon, Boogeyman, and the intro ghosts. And I think Hector put out an example of Q2 could be Winston and like Sandman or something like that, and another smaller ghost that could be a companion with it. And so it's not necessarily you have to buy 7 $200 sets at once. It's kind of a spaced out kind of deal.
Right. That's the formula that Brian Flynn has been using at Super 7 for several years now. Ever since he introduced the Ultimates, I think the number is what, $300 every quarter. He doesn't want to put out more than X dollars per quarter or per half. I can't remember if he uses quarter or half for a specific fan base. And that's why he'll never, well, this is the goal, as far as I understand it, was to never have like 2 waves of Ultimates from one specific fan base out at a time. Because if you're a diehard Silverhawks fan, he wants to wait until you have this product in hand before he asks for another X dollars from you. And I feel like that's sort of what Mondo's looking at and saying is, yes, this is a high price. Toy Collector has a good comment there in chat. Why didn't the economics of this scare Mondo away? Because I think they think at that price point that there is enough fan base to support that price for this kind of stuff based on how passionate real Ghostbusters fans have been.
Well, I think that's it. I think they see the passion from the fan base. I think they are really excited about it. And I know that Doel, myself, Craig, Jacob, Abby, like we've had, you know, maybe a bit more of an insider view to this. Is, you know, we're friends with Alex who've sculpted these, or friends with Peter and Hector, and so I think we have seen that passion from them, that they really want to make this happen, right? And they see that out of all of these properties like TMNT, Motu, that have had 6-inch scale figures that have kind of filled your shelves, this hasn't. I think the hoops they've had to jump through have shown why it hasn't happened yet, for whatever those reasons are. But they're willing to say, hey, we know this. There's a reason why other companies haven't done this. We're probably running into that, and that's why these are expensive and weird 2-packs that are trying to get as much value in it as possible. But hey, we believe that fans should have this because we're fans of it too, and I respect that move. And so if it's too much, totally understand. But for the diehards, like, this is it. This is our chance to.
Yeah, you can draw your own lines. You can set your own boundaries and say, I love real Ghostbusters. I want figures. These don't have the articulation I want. This isn't the style I want. This isn't the price I want. And you just sit it out. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to end the poll. We have 217 votes. What do we think? What do we think the final tab?
I'm guessing it's 50-50.
I'm just gonna go with Dan. He's like spot on every time.
It is about 50-50. You go 50% no. Yes for 202 was 35%. And then yes for 101 was 14%. So yeah, about 50-50 of the chat. So whatever that is, whatever that equates to, it's doing better than the snake lair. So we got that at least. 50-50 in the sense that the 2 yeses equaled 50 and the 50.
I get it.
Yes.
I
so matched that one.
You got it. So what number of RGB fans do they need to make work economically? 500,000. Not sure those numbers are there at those prices. We'll have to see, Blake. We'll have to see.
I don't know.
We will see.
Time will tell.
Attack Peter is going to be on Gotham City Tonight on Wednesday. We don't usually talk about Ghostbusters on there. We save that for another show called Yes Have Some. But I mean, maybe we can prod him for a couple answers and see if he's allowed or able to answer any of them.
Yeah. And I do think Print Rabbit make a point. Hasbro could. Yes, they could, but they haven't. For whatever reason. They haven't. And so I don't know if they're giving a hard time to Mondo. If they are, then it makes it even stupider. Like, you're not even doing anything with it. But
that's not the point. That's not how capitalism works, Jay. It's about
right.
owning
Exactly.
It.
Like, no, we don't want Mondo making 6-inch figures because that is a threat to us, because he's going to look way better than our 6-inch figures. There's a couple super chats that I haven't gotten to yet. I'm sorry. Michael Traverso, $5 super chat. This is going back to Snake there. There's no nostalgia with this piece, so it's going to be tough. Get this over. Mondo's 2000X line isn't helping us out either. I agree, Michael Traverso. And stop motion. Why is the single buster the same as the Ghost? Are we saying the same price? Again, the price is so weird, and the comment from the Mondo team about the Motu being cheaper, this has to be some weird licensor threshold type thing. A lot of times this is inside baseball, but toy companies, if they're like sub-licensing it, or they're a smaller company and there's a bigger company that has a license, a lot of times they have to have it at a price point because that's what the licensor is set it at. And it being so weird, I think would have to make it seem like it's along those lines. As well as what Darren,
Trevor has noted that NECA goes through the same thing with Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
They have to have their figures at a certain price point. Otherwise, Playmates comes after them.
Yeah. And I'm sure the same is true for Super 7. Any of these mid-majors or Mezco as well, right? You look at those 4 turtles for $400. That's a lot of money for a figure that you could probably get comparable somewhere else for cheaper. But again, there's sub-licensing turtles from Playmates or Nickelodeon or whatever it is, and those prices are probably set to them for whatever that is. So, anywho, you can negotiate with Sony, Randall, but Hasbro has the master toy license, so they have to be consulted in some form or fashion, I would assume.
Yeah.
But anywho, all right, let's keep going here. Let's talk about some positive things. We talked about NECA. Let's talk about those Sesame Street figures. Because besides the Mondo reveal, these Sesame Street Ultimates, I think, are my favorite of the show. I freaking love these things. Dole, you mentioned that maybe you got to see these once upon a time at some point in time, but
I saw nothing that was gray.
Perfect.
That's the rule. That's the
but like, what was your thoughts on everybody getting a chance to look at these things?
It's great because I finally was able to be like, okay, thank God I could talk about these. These are this is one of those things I never expected NECA to get. I was expecting these to come from Super 7 just because of the reaction line, which is also another great Sesame Street line of toys.
Yeah.
And man, these are just like a next level of that. And I remember talking to NECA and them just being like, yeah, these are going to be in the same scale as the Palisades Muppets. This is supposed to be that cousin line for these. I think brilliant. I like the alternate heads with like open and closed mouths. They come with a lot, which is also great. You know, like there's a lot of like, again, these are ultimates, right? So they're going to have a lot of stuff that comes with it. I hope this line flourishes. I hope this line grows. I would love to see deluxe figures such as Barkley, Big Bird, Snuffleupagus, right? Some of them bigger Muppets. And I'd love to see some obscure ones like Super 7 is doing too, like a Guy Smiley, a Prairie Dawn. Like let you know, and throw in some of the modern ones too. I'm pretty sure there's going to be, I shouldn't even say a modern one. Elmo's not modern anymore.
No, he's been around a while.
Right? And give me Sesame Street Newsflash. Give me a deluxe set of Sesame Street Newsflash of Kermit the Frog with like that really nightmare fuelish Humpty Dumpty.
Yes. Right? Like, oh my God, I had that on tape. That one. That one is seared into my brain.
Right? Like, let's do some really fun stuff with this. Again, yeah, like Rick Jones saying Super Grover, Waiter Grover with a giant hamburger and a tiny hamburger. Give it to me. Yeah. I think this is a line that could be massive and beautiful and colorful and fun. And again, I think this will hit for a lot, like it'll hit for Gen Xers, millennials.
Yes.
I think parents would even just love to have them just near the kids. I don't know. Like, I think this is great. I've been okay. I'm done gushing.
No, I think you're right about the Gen X millennial thing. Like, this Sesame Street was such an integral thing we grew up with across generations. So that's a great point. Yeah, Dan, what's your thoughts?
I think they're terrible. No, hey, look, as far as like, so my number one complaint with the Comic-Con reveals and all that stuff is I felt like there wasn't really anything that like blew me away, you know, like, oh my gosh, I gotta have that. This was a big surprise. This was absolutely unexpected, came out of nowhere. If Diamond had announced these, I would have been like, oh yeah, of course, they're already doing Muppets, you know, this is just a step away from that, roll them right into this line. It was never on my radar that NECA was going to actually pull something like this. When I first saw them, I don't know whose video it was. It might have been your live stream, Jay, actually.
Okay.
But when I first saw them, I thought they were from the, you know, that line NECA has that is like the Mego figures where they're like cloth outfits and stuff. They're a little bit larger. I thought they were part of that, and that's because the sculpting on the shirts is so good.
Oh, it's so good.
I think Paul Harding did the sculpting on this, and I was like, get closer. I need to see the elbows. Are those folds? Are those creases? Are those actual articulation points? And then once I saw that NECA elbow, I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. That's incredible. They look amazing. I do still have a lot of the old Palisades figures, so these will go really nicely with that. But I also wish they had started with Super Grover. That would have been a nice nod to the line, because they did get Super Grover out in that line, but nobody else. They look amazing. We're definitely in for all of them. And the only thing I said to my wife was, it's this or reaction. We're not doing both.
But what do you pick?
Now I'm kind of stuck doing both.
Reaction's a great line.
It is.
Yeah, well, because I passed on wave 1. I was like, I don't want to pay $25 a figure, whatever it was. And then wave 2 came out, and I was like, God, all right, fine, we'll get the reaction. So we literally, like last week, got all of wave 2, and I think the Yip Yips are in my pile of loot at Big Bad Toy Store. So I still got to go back and get whoever else is in wave 1. I think it's Count, Bert, and Ernie, maybe. I can't remember who's in wave 1.
Ernie, Yips, and then it's yeah, you're right. Correct.
Yeah. So, but at this point, I'm like, well, why even bother getting those now? I should just move those and then wait for these to come out, because these are going to be way better. We're not doing both.
Oh, it's weird because I do like the reaction ones, because I'm hoping that it's too bad reaction doesn't do play sets, because I would love just a reaction figure style play set of the old Little People play set, but in reaction.
Sure.
But see, that's where I love the Little People Sesame Street playset. I have it. I have all of even the harder to find Little People versions of the Sesame Street characters. Like, that was Sesame Street toys for me as a kid. That's what I grew up with. So that's what's in my collection. But now, for the first time, it feels like it could take the place of that on my toy shelf, just because these are so accurate. To Dan's point, like, all the little, like, this is a live stream, so it's just not gonna have the same detail, but go to toyark.com, go to or watch a Pixel Dan walkthrough video or whatever. Like, the detail on these is so incredible.
It's the texture.
Exactly. Like, it looks like it's the felt that they sewed the Muppets out of. Like, it's just they do kind of have the look and feel that the Palisades brought with their Muppet line. And for those that don't know, the two IPs were split off, so different people, like Disney owns Muppets, Sesame Workshop owns the Sesame Street characters, which is sad because they used to all be under, like, Henson, but still. So that's why, like, one can do one and the other can do the other. But I love their choice to keep it in the Palisades scale. And I just love how these things turned out. I'm definitely in for these.
I gotta say, I'm a little surprised about the Palisades scale, because that's a reference point that most people just aren't going to have access to unless you want to start building that collection on eBay. And some of those figures they weren't very sturdy then, and they did not get better with age.
Maybe
right. So part of me almost wishes these were in scale with the diamond figures.
But
isn't Ralph come with the backstage as well? Like, that's the only way you can get Ralph?
Yes.
Or am I going crazy? Yeah. Okay.
No, you're right, because I think I recently
you can get Ralph with the piano as well, but he's got his tuxedo.
Okay. But you get him with the backstage set too. But I agree with that sentiment, but I feel like the Palisades scale is better for these, for something, because the diamond.
I agree. Yes.
Because you get more of the texture, more of the detail that look better.
Yep. Yep, I agree. Just in terms of accessibility and collection building, diamond is still readily available.
Yeah, maybe NECA just needs to resurrect the Muppets Palisades too. Maybe, I don't know.
Could happen.
Maybe
that would be amazing.
Maybe. But I did. Somebody in chat said they better do at least 26 figures so we get the whole alphabet.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yes. And I love how some of those letters are from skits as well, like the little vignettes.
Yeah.
Like the E is clearly from a vignette. I recognize it. And I was like, God, I need to find out which vignette that is.
And for everybody asking in chat, the Palisade scale, these figures, they're roughly 5 to 6 inches ish.
Yeah.
Depending on the character. Ernie's probably like 4.5, 5 inches. Bert's probably close to 6.
Yep, exactly.
Is there anyone
Big Bird's going to be like 10 inches.
Yeah, they better do Big Bird.
and really, like, the OG human characters, that'd be cool too. Like, I don't know if they get licensed.
Somebody mentioned that. I don't know if it was in Dan's video or somebody else's video, but they said that if you were actually going to do the humans to scale in this line, they'd be gigantic, and you could not cost effective.
That'd be kind of weird and cool.
And do you want Gordon being the same height as Bert? Is that which one's creepier?
Yeah, right.
All right. We gotta start doing these a little bit super fast style. 2012 Turtles. That's exciting from NECA for those that want 2012.
That's it.
I'm
That's the
happy
last
that
one, right? There's nothing else left.
yeah,
Except for maybe Rise.
Yeah, Rise.
Rise,
We'll
and
play
that other movie, the other animated movie that came out.
Oh yes, the continuation.
TMNT,
Yeah. So I think that's it. But just
In
like
the
Pixel Dan, I'm
live
very
action-
excited about Ice Cream Kitty.
Yes, he was. during the
Like
pan-
he was. It made me really happy. It's like, thank God someone's talking about Ice Cream Kitty. Because if I was there, that's all I would talk about.
I could have put in the slide. Trevor gave us a picture of the sculpt of Mikey with the Ice Cream Kitty in front of him. We could have used it for the slide. If I knew how much Ice Cream Kitty was gonna pop during that panel, I would have had that slide in there too. But
Well, if anyone's watched the series, if anyone's watched the series, it's that fun character that just happens to kind of be there. That and Cluckingsworth, right? The chicken with the giant brain.
Mhm.
Wait, did you guys not watch the show?
I did, but that was
I've seen some of it. I have not seen. I've probably only seen maybe 5 or 6 episodes.
Oh, okay.
I watched the first season at least, but I don't remember any of it. This was 20 years ago.
Well, I'll just stand here by myself talking to myself about the cat.
15 years ago? How long did it come? I feel it was a lifetime ago. That's cool. And then Super 7. Do I have them next? The Tiamat was there, which was cool. The Turtles, I thought they looked decent. Kyle said that these were like prototypes and they were like super loosey goosey. So we had to like use this like wax to just get them to stand up for the show. So people made a bunch of comments about the little, you could see it in some of the pictures. Clearly these aren't the final production samples. Sometimes you get them from the factory and it's not perfect. But other than the joints being loosey goosey on these production samples, I think they turned out pretty good renders to figure at least.
Yeah,
very happy for the people that want them. Absolutely, a rare opportunity to get modern figures of a very specific, years worth of cartoons.
Yeah.
This one's not even 40 years. This is 20.
Yeah.
Quick note on Tiamat. It's $300 including shipping. 300 including shipping.
Includes the
Tiamat. I never made it to the Super 7 shop, so I didn't get to see this in person. But again, I think Pixel Dan's walkthrough pictures and stuff. It looked really nice. It looked really, really nice.
I was a little bummed out that there was no announcements there was no really big new announcements for Super 7. And like, I was kind of hoping there was going to be like, here's wave 3 and 4 of the Sesame Street reaction line. No dice.
They did go light. I believe it was in our panel. I believe it was Dan that said it, that Brian Flynn said, let me deliver the cat's lair before we do Technodrome, which I think is a fair.
Does that mean Technodrome confirmed?
No, but I think it's just like, before we even worry about another big, gigantic playset, let's make sure we deliver this when everyone's happy. So then you want to, buy this new one.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
But they did in that Turtles panel give a sneak peek for wave 2 of the 2012, which clearly showed Shredder, Splinter, Foot Clan member, and Casey Jones. Real solid wave 2 there for those fans of the 2003. I think I said 2012 earlier.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, Hatter Toys, Evil Bay. If you weren't at his panel, he unveiled his next character. That's in progress very much. I think if Render's in the chat, he would tell you this is very much a work in progress. He's the one doing the sculpting on the figures. But still, I think it's a really fun new character. You can check out the ToyTubers Unite panel to hear him talk about this, or I believe Mega J Retro streamed the Flipboard panel, and they get into even more detail on Evil Bay. But for those Flipboard fans or the champions in Affinity, this was shown there, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Motu teased a Thundercats Motu crossover, which will be a lot like Turtles and Motu, I assume.
Do you think like they're going to do different Thundercats or Thundercats that look more like Motu?
Yeah, like I think some people
that's what Dan said.
Right?
Oh.
Yeah, they're gonna do Thundercats Origins, but I think it'll just be like how they did the Turtles one. I think is what Dan Pixel Dan said as well. Which is cool. I think that's fun. Logically makes sense.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a line that I'm surprised hasn't crossed over even in comic books sooner. They did cross over in comics, I think.
They did. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
You actually got to see a Battle Cat, Thundercat in there.
That's cool.
About this one, Dan Larson.
I'm glad he comes with the alternate faceplate because tongue out. Like, that's
after you said that, that's all I could see. Like,
I hope he comes with like some kind of hat. Like, I don't like I'm fine with them innovating, doing different things, changing the aesthetic. That's sort of what the theme of New Eternia has been, you know, simultaneously rooted in like the original stuff, but also starting to push in new directions. I get it. I love it. That's fantastic. But I don't know. The whole clear dome thing is not working for me. It feels very much like, and it's so stupid because his torso has always been exposed parts. It's like, well, why can't he have his head look that way as well? But that's not how he's always looked. So can we just give him a Man-at-Arms style, you know, like just a helmet to put on there, and then if you want to see his brains and stuff, take the helmet off. You see his brains and stuff. I don't like it.
Dan, you must have influenced them because they did switch out the
yeah
over.
Yeah. So he's pissed off fixing that thing.
I know for a fact. Actually, everybody that works for the team that was there when I was there, you know, they watch our shows and they follow all of us on social media. I definitely saw your comments there, Dan. But I agree. I gotta agree with you, Dan. Like in the Toy Geeks podcast, we did a deep dive in the original toy line, and in quite a few episodes we effuse praise about the Masterverse toy line and how cool it made some characters we didn't think were very cool. But Roboto was a favorite of everybody on that episode, including yourself. And I agree. This is a case where you took a really cool figure and up to the head, they nailed it. And the execution on the head just doesn't work. It looks goofy.
And I was really looking forward to this one because I do have the Revelation version.
Yes.
And as lots of people pointed out, he does have a Gizmo Duck aesthetic, and that one really pushed that line between like, where does the mouth guard, and I'm fine, I'll accept that it's a mouth guard now, it's not eyes, where is that in relation? And his whole face is just like squished down, it's very flat, and so I was very excited to see what they were going to do with New Eternia here, and I'm just first glance not in love.
Yeah. And
they got time. They got time to fix it.
They got plenty of time.
Yeah.
But I'll also say this whole wave of figures that they showed, Beastman, Armo, Fisto, I think Eva Lynn was in there. Eva Lynn looked great.
Yeah, Eva Lynn was awesome. Great.
But that Beastman, I felt like this Beastman was a step back from the previous Beastman.
It is, because he's thin. Like he's lost too much weight. He's didn't bulk up. He doesn't look
giant gemstone on his belt there.
Hey, when Mondo does the 2000X Beastman, I will probably be all over that one too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. This felt like a step back from the last one.
Agreed. And they're both New Eternia too, so I feel like maybe you just stick to the other New Eternia Beastman.
Hey, I love it. I already own this one. I'm happy with the one I have. So
yeah.
More money in my pocket.
It's cardio Beastman, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think for sure. And then do we have Armo? Because I also agree on the Armo take. I mean, this was before they put Armo out there. But yeah, the whole mechanical arm defeats the purpose.
His name's Fisto. It's not Armo. I do love that they pointed out that they were just playing with callbacks, Easter eggs to old versions, different media and whatever, and that his headpiece is sort of meant to kind of echo Stridor's hat. Stridor has that sort of like helmet
Yeah.
that goes on in that his I don't have to share my Instagram. It's fine. Oh, my Twitter.
It came up first on Twitter. It was you all along, not Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Sorry, I'll stop sharing while I try to find a picture.
So there's things I like about it. I just ultimately I wasn't a huge fan of the arm, but again, like I think the previously released Fisto is pretty great as it is. So
I do think it's good. I think it's good. And as far as the vintage stuff goes, I thought those turned out great. The Modulok looks good. They all look pretty good. So
Rio Blast, I'm gonna be
Rio
getting
Blast.
Rio Blast.
They all
That's
look
my
pretty-
dad. For those who don't know,
Yeah, you should listen to what year was that? 1986?
7
was your episode, or was it 87?
7, 86, 87. I
think it's
can't
80.
remember.
Neca's doing Beetlejuice. Those all looked really great. Let's see. Oh,
The Stump Wrestling Turtles. I cannot wait.
I know those are
God.
science delivered for Ryan Doell right there. How about this? A Batmobile for Batman.
I appreciate that, you know, the love for this era, for this particular film has come sort of full circle, and that now there's this nostalgic element to it, because like I remember liking the movie for the most part when it came out,
Right?
but we had nothing else going on. Like there was just no other superhero stuff going on. So you're like, that was cool. It was a Batman movie, whatever.
I
But
like.
I have always hated this Batmobile. From day one I did not like it. I do not like it now, especially on the heels of '89 Batmobile. Like I know there's nowhere to go but down after that, but I
Right.
felt like this went way down. Like,
No, I get you. I did.
Yeah.
I actually, I shouldn't say I loved this Batmobile, but I liked it fine. Again, I'm all about the 2-seater Batmobile. It's something that's a hill I will die on. I will be the human equivalent of a sad comment when a Batmobile has one seat. But man, I like this Batmobile. I always like the glowing, just because it was, it matched the aesthetic of what that film was, which was like neon painted on black paper. Like that's how that Gotham looked, and I felt like this Batmobile reflected that Gotham that we were getting for these movies. Even though I didn't know how to articulate that at like 16 years old, but that's how I felt. And it was, and again, Robin's in it, and God dang it, I was so stoked for Robin. But yeah, I'm happy people have come around and begun to not just even just started to enjoy it just for what it is.
absolutely.
Right?
I mean, people were excited for that Mr. Freeze figure, so all you know, everything is forgiven. People love it now, and that's great, and I think it's fantastic. But for me, this is an easy pass.
Yeah. That's I have no room for this Batmobile. I'm probably when I saw these figures for Batman Forever, my first thought was, man, I want the Hot Toys. Right?
I mean, I only have room for one, and I already have one sitting right behind me, which I don't know if you can see in the shot right now. But no, I when I saw this movie, I was like, why would you replace the Batmobile? It's perfect.
Yeah, I think we all did like when we first see it, it's just kind of like.
But it is grown on me. It is grown on me because of the colors, that kind of green and the lights and stuff. It does separate itself. If you're looking from 89 on down the line, it does, you know, differentiate itself enough. And so I do think it's earned a place on a shelf of all of the movie Batmobiles. I would not say the same about Batman and Robin. I don't know if the Batman has earned that place for me yet, even though I do like that Batmobile design, but it doesn't separate itself really on a shelf. But I do think this one does. So I'm not a for sure gonna buy, but if it kind of is within my grasp, and I have the funds to do so, maybe I would do it. As Robin said, it's the car. Chicks dig the car.
I just want to see that thing try to fit through a drive-through.
Where is it at? There it is. You see my Hot Toys Batmobile.
Oh, that's right.
A Haslab proton pack for scale right next to it. How much more space it is.
Hey, Todd is also coming out with he's re-releasing the animated Batwing. which, speaking of massive vehicles, right? That's getting a re-release too.
That's pretty
and
good.
This is what I want to mostly talk about on Gotham City Tonight on Wednesday, but I want to bring it up here because it is such a, I can't believe you're making this. You're seriously making this. Yeah, I'm going to buy it, but why are you making this? It's the playset 2-figure thing of the Joker from the Maury show.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you thinking?
Yeah.
This is really dark.
Yeah.
But also I need it. I really wish it came with curtains to attach to the side of it so you could do like him coming out to the crowd. But man, I don't know. Out of all the movies, Batman related movies, I think this is always one I always felt like this one doesn't need a Happy Meal. But also when I see this, I'm like, oh, I kind of want this. It's weird. It is so weird.
I agree completely, especially like the context of the memes that get used over and over again and the context behind those. Like,
yes,
it's a very dark thing. But there's also other really dark toys, so whatever.
I get that, but I mean, like,
sure.
Come on, like this was like I get it because they do like there's horror movies, all that kind of stuff that gets playset like figures and play sets and everything else. But there's something particular about the context of this scene in particular getting like the toy treatment that just gives me the ickies, but also the FOMO and the needies. So it's I don't know.
Both.
I'm very torn. I'm very torn how I feel about this.
That's true. They did sell dead Optimus Prime, so I guess there's precedent.
Like, let's put it this way: if Todd's worried about making female action figures will create serial killers, maybe you should have some reflection when you're selling this. So
got him.
let's think about it.
Yeah, and you're right. We had RoboCop and Terminator toys as kids, but yeah, this one for sure. A wee bit dark, and no superpowers.
No, they didn't even talk about the drawing board.
No,
they didn't even talk about it.
Oof, it's not good. It's not looking good.
God, can I get the master toy license for DC? Can I get it? How do I get it?
I don't know.
All it takes is cash, my man.
God, I want to see Mondo make 6-inch figures of Batman animated series.
We have said that, but it's not. If you even Google search it, it does not pop up. Drawing board superpowers. Let's see. Is there a link here? Here we go. Let's see how it's doing. Let's just do a quick check-in. I know Brian Brink has made a chart for this, but I have not put it on the site. Oh, it's not even. Here we go.
Oh, I thought maybe they removed it. 10 days to go, 22. Do you know what really sucks is that I'm part of that percent.
Oh God,
that's so sad.
It's not great. It's not great.
Fuck. They killed the line before we even got women, Jay. I'm getting a Murder Maury playset live on TV before I'm getting a Superpowers Black Widow. Life is sad.
Cue up Boys to Men, End of the Road. That's it.
Yeah, it's done.
Oh man,
it's over, folks. It's over.
All right.
So anywho, Randall is giving some hope. Todd mentioned he was going to make the Superpowers drawing board regardless. He usually saves superpower news for NYCC. So maybe not.
That's not true. There was lots at the panel last year at San Diego. I remember.
Oh my gosh. All right. I think that's about everything. I'm sure there's 100 things more. But if we had to pick for best in show, we can only put 4 things on the poll. What should the 4 things be in for best of show for people to vote on? I think Sesame Street.
Sesame Street, sure.
Rattler.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
People love the Rattler. No,
I know, but I guess I'm not really thinking of that as like a Comic-Con thing.
Okay. It was when unveiled.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay. Ghostbusters could be a tweener with the price tag.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm with Pablo on this. Jada showed off all of Street Fighter 2.
They did, and Scooby-Doo, which was a big
Tony
deal.
the Tiger.
And Tony the Tiger. Right? So I would put actually Jada. I know we didn't talk about them.
I would say, yeah, put Jada in there. Is it Jada or Jada? I think it's Jada.
Is it Jada?
Everyone says Jada.
When Dan did an interview, or maybe it was somebody did an interview with him, and they kept saying Jada, and there was no correction there. So
maybe they were just like, we can't correct Pixel Dan. This is Pixel Dan. That's how I would feel. He'd be like, hey, Ryan Doell. Hey, yeah, this is Mr. Dan. That's me.
Jada or Jada all together? Or we're gonna say Street Fighter specifically, or just
no? I would just put
broad brush.
I'd put Jada in there. I would just put him because Jada. They did great as a solid unit.
Okay. So Jada. We'll do toy companies then. We'll do a broad brush. Jada, Mondo, Hasbro, and
NECA.
Mattel. Oh, NECA. Oh, yeah. NECA.
Mattel didn't get it. Sorry, Mattel's gonna be in the.
Oh, well, I was just. I don't know. That's up to you guys. Like you're the Motu dude, right?
And I just feel Snake Lair was is divisive, and some of the Masterverse reveals weren't great.
Okay.
All right. So
they're watching.
I know they're watching. I love y'all. You're good people, but it just it didn't hit as hard. We had some great stuff.
And everybody start putting the phonetic pronunciation of your products on the box. Have these conversations more. Chat is saying that June says Jada, so that's all I'm going by. What does June say?
There you go.
Yeah.
Best in show. Not Q. Sorry. Poll. I need a poll, not Q&A. Best in show. So let's say Jada, Mondo, Hasbro, and NECA, right? All right. You all can vote now out of this esteemed group.
Do you want to drop the link in for the ducks?
Yeah, let's do the polls and I'll drop the link. I have the ready to go. But Doel, what was your best in show out of those four? You can pick another one since you're not beholden to a.
There's a couple. Oh man, that's a hard choice because Mondo did reveal we didn't talk about this either, the 1/6 scale Spider-Man and Venom from the 90s series that I really, really like a lot.
Batman.
So I would say even just their Marvel DC animated line, I think they killed it there. So I would put them as one of the best in shows. I'm always going to be biased because this is what I collect and healthily and happily. More than anyone else, I feel like out of all my friend groups, which is Marvel Legends, with that Sentinel 2-pack from the Konami video game, and plus the Dragon Man, and then the Crystal Good Boy 2-pack.
And ROM was announced.
ROM Space Knight, which is, I think Dan said last night on his channel, nope, don't care. And I'm just like, I care. I'm watching.
It's fine. It's great. It was a great announcement. I know a lot of people are happy about it. I was just hoping for some more Crystar follow-up.
Yeah.
You know what? And I was kind of hoping it was going to get its own line.
Sure.
Its own wave, right? Just do it. Hey, come on, Hasbro, just do it. But I'm with you on that. I was kind of hoping they were going to do more.
You got to
pick one of those?
Yeah, just pick one.
I'm going to go with, hang on. You know what? I'm going to go with NECA.
Okay.
I'm going with NECA. Sesame Street. All the turtle reveals, all the new stuff were amazing, and they got me super stoked. Beetlejuice and Pee Wee Herman.
Yep.
Done and done.
Pretty good. All right. Dan, best in show for you.
Hasbro for sure for me. I love the Sesame Street was great. NECA disappointed me big time with not announcing any new D&D stuff. I was really, really hoping for some more D&D announcements.
No gargoyles either.
I wasn't really in on gargoyles. That didn't bother me. But as far as the stuff that I was like, oh, cool. These are things I look forward to buying. I'm going to get. Definitely, they just showed that new brown suit Wolverine. That's my Wolverine. So I'm definitely going to grab him.
It looks so good.
The head's a little weird. I couldn't tell. It looks like an Alan Davis sort of inspired thing to me, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But we didn't talk about it. My favorite, and actually was a surprise that got me excited, was the collaborative Knight Rider Transformer. So yes, I'm definitely in on that. Definitely excited about that. So I got to give it to Hasbro for that. You know, I was disappointed. And just all the GI Joe stuff: Rattler, Road Pig, Raptor. You know,
Road
all
Pig
the
looks
Halo
so
jumper.
good.
All of it looks so good. So I'm definitely, I cannot say not Hasbro. I was excited. I don't care one lick about Street Sharks. But I do like Slobster. So they just put that new Slobster out today. I have the vintage Slobster. It's the only Street Sharks things I have. So I was excited to see a new Slobster. We'll have to revisit the top 10 crustaceans once that comes out.
Yeah, nice.
No, that's completely
Jay,
fair.
you were there in person. What was your best in show?
For me, it's gonna be hard for it not to be Mondo, just because Real Ghostbusters is so important to me. It's something that I've wanted and have championed for even before I even had a channel to champion. I wanted to pull up Dan, you did share the Transformers Knight Rider crossover.
Very excited about that. It looks great.
Yeah, it looks so good. It's really
I
cool.
love that he's just a straight up like Autobot car. You know,
Yeah.
He's got that,
Yeah.
you know, the hood chest and the door wings. Awesome. Love it.
I like the blue jeans. I'm a big fan of the
All
blue
of it.
jeans.
It's all good. He's got the wrist communicator watch on. So good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lights and sounds.
But for me, it's that, and then you add on the 6-inch scale 2000X Motu line. That's super exciting. Plus all of the more of the soft vinyl turtle stuff looks.
Oh
super
yeah,
cool.
those look great.
The
Baxter Stockman looks super fun.
Looked amazing.
Yeah.
And of course their 12-inch stuff is so incredible. So it would go to them. Runner up for me would be NECA just on the Sesame Street alone, even though I would agree there were some other things I would hope to have seen more of. But if they can really commit to Sesame Street and give us at least, Dan, I think it was your comment, the 26 letters, or some of the chat said that, the 26 letters of characters, that absolutely needs to happen. For sure. But let's check out what you all voted in the chat. 237 votes. Where do you think the chat went on this one?
I just cheated. I just saw the result.
I just cheated too. Yep.
All right.
Never mind. I'm going to say Hasbro.
I also would have guessed Hasbro, but I'm a Hasbro shill, I guess.
Mondo was winning for a while, but Hasbro did end up eking out. 30% of you said Hasbro's best in show. In second was Mondo with 28%. Jada Toys with 21%. And NECA Toys with 20%. All right, now it's time.
You know what? All of those are winners, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes,
I think the only thing that bums me out about NECA is that for some reason, this is my own fault. I created this whole scenario in my head. I still keep hoping that they're going to announce what we do in the Shadows Ultimates from NECA.
Yeah,
I would do anything for a Matt Berry figure.
Yeah,
that would be great.
That would be great. Worst in show. I'm going to put Mattel.
We're doing that?
Well, it's just this is not meaning to be mean or anything. It's just you got to have a best, you got to have a worst. So most opportunistic, most opportunities.
Oh, the opportunity for growth award, like at
the for growth award. Yeah. I think Mattel, just because of the disappointment with the Snake Lair, plus some of the other reveals, weren't really they were firing on all cylinders for so long. They'd have to be a point where they kind of had some misses, and I feel like they had some misses. Super 7, I think, to all of our points, like they didn't have any like big reveals, nothing that kind of blew us away or anything, but they were solid, but nothing that was, you know.
Well, last year I felt like they had a good year. Like I remember us talking like, wow, Super 7
last year.
Yeah,
I think they were best in show. Black Series. I know we already had Hasbro, but we can put Hasbro on again.
Why would they get? So I'm sorry. Why would Black Series outside of their verbiage that they use for when they're promoting their Star Wars stuff, which totally needs to change because they don't talk like people. I don't know. I thought Black Series actually had some really good reveals, like Tracker Otter and.
Mike Case was fully happy with it. He's Black Series Cantina. He was super excited about the Black Series reveals. I think they actually even showed off a playset for Vintage Collection, didn't they?
They did.
They yeah.
A little hallway thing.
So,
all right. So okay, Star Wars.
No, I'm fine. Put Hasbro in there because I wasn't super excited with all their stuff, and I want to show we were balanced coverage. So Hasbro can be best and worst.
Mezco didn't show a lot of new stuff. People are saying Mezco in the chat.
Okay, let's put him in there.
Let's put Mezco.
We listen to the people.
All right, so
I think it's fair to put Mattel in there. Yeah.
For worst in show, Mattel, Super 7, McFarlane, and Mezco. Gentlemen, what would you say least inspiring out of those?
It's hard because there's so much, like McFarlane is so locked in on DC, and I just don't really collect that much DC. And like NECA and Super 7, whatever, there's so much Ninja Turtle stuff, and I don't collect Ninja Turtle stuff. So, and I don't collect Masters of the Universe. So Mattel is just like it doesn't even register with me. So it's hard for me to say like they didn't do well when it's just a lot of lines that I don't collect. But I'm just going to say Mattel anyway.
Right. Because again, if you're a wrestling collector, which I know Dan Larson is not, but if you were
the number one wrestling figure fan,
that's right, the number one wrestling podcast on YouTube, Dan Larson. If there was for those collectors, I think they get a lot. Like for people that love WWE and they want all that classic stuff and new stuff, they eat well. Those collectors eat very well.
Yeah. And he froze about how well they eat. So Dan saying Mattel. Okay, Doe, you're back.
Hey,
okay,
welcome back.
So what would be your worst in show? Mattel, McFarlane, Super 7, or Mezco?
I love DC. I love Batman, but because of no superpowers love, and they won't even promote their own crowdfunding campaign and still saying, oh, we're going to make it anyway. Come on, get your shit together. McFarlane's worst in show.
That's what I'm going to go with too. They didn't have any, like, that'd have been cool to see the crowdfund on the floor. Their DC stuff was in the DC booth. So they had their exclusives there. But that was it. And they had another McFarlane. They were showcased in another section by the Alex Ross booth. But like really, it was uninspiring for sure. T-shirts for McFarlane that Daniel said, John. But let's see what the chat has to say. So many votes we got. Nearly 200 votes. So it's in the poll. And in first place, it is McFarlane with 34%, Super 7 second with 31%, Mattel 21%, and Mezco with 12%. Boom. There you have it, folks. All right, now it is time to do our Coco giveaway. I'm going to put a link in the chat. Remember, all you have to do is put in your YouTube username. So the name that is here in the chat, that is what you have to put in. I'm going to check it. And then when the race is done, you have to say in the chat, I'm here. Okay. You have to be present. It has to be your YouTube account. Them's the rules. So I just put a link in the chat. I can see Dan's going in right now because he wants that sweet exclusive.
I didn't really even want it. Like, I didn't order it. I didn't buy it. But I also didn't know it had a lenticular box art on it, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool. I do think lenticular stuff.
And Neil Hunter Hyde, who came in a little bit late, our giveaway today is the ComicCon exclusive GI Joe classified.
It does still say Extendar.
Does it? Did I do the wrong? Oops, I did the wrong one. Oh, no. Here we go. Sorry. Can you tell I copy and paste these? I'm going to change it real quick. Coco giveaway. All right. It should be updated now for people. Already 163 people have put in.
That's a lot of duck.
That's a lot of ducks. Luckily, I think I can do up to 1,000 with my paid account. So we still doing all right. All right. I'll give you a few more seconds. I'm going to get the duck race set up here. Online stopwatch. Log in.
I will say this, and a couple people are sort of mentioned the Scooby-Doo Jada figures.
Yeah.
If you had asked me who had a bigger fan base and which toys would be more viable on the shelves, I would have said Ghostbusters and Scooby-Doo were a tie.
I would say that's I would agree with that. I think Scooby-Doo has a more wider influence range because my kids watch. I mean, I guess my kids watch Ghostbusters, but Scooby-Doo.
They're always making. Yeah, they're always a new Scooby-Doo cartoon.
Scooby-Doo on TV.
Yeah, that surprised me.
But let's see. Resubmitted after the name change. That's okay. I think it's the same thing. Oh, I hope it didn't make two different freaking things. No, it's the same one. Thank Jesus. All right, 285 responses. This may be one of the biggest duck races ever. So you all really want this Comic-Con exclusive. set. We're gonna do a duck race.
I wonder if Jada's going to do more Hanna-Barbera, because I would love to get some Flintstone figures.
Flintstones, Jetsons. Give me some of the weird, deeper cut stuff. Mighty Mouse. I don't know if that was kind of sorry.
I don't think that's Hanna-Barbera.
But they have a Hanna-Barbera Mighty Mouse show. They're like Mighty Mouse and the.
I think the network might have done that, but not the companies.
Okay. There's like there was a show that I think was a Hanna-Barbera show that had Mighty Mouse in it. Captain Caveman.
That would be a fun one.
That'd be a great Herculoids. There's just so much. All right, let me get this teed up here. Over 300 submissions. If you are out of the country, if it's within the contiguous United States, I will pay for shipping. If you're not in the United States, you need to pay for shipping. That's my only qualifier. Because if it's like in Europe, that stuff can get expensive really fast. All right. 316 responses. Goodness gracious. I'm going to do a quick scan to make sure nobody's doubling up. For the record, if you're doubling up names on here, I will kick you out. So
I will kill you. I will find you.
Somebody kept like resubmitting their name. It was really annoying. And then I just deleted all of them, so they never got a chance to win. Ryan Doell for Dan. Oh wow! So if you win, Ryan Doell, you're gonna give it to Dan.
That's correct.
Right. I got two entries.
That's kind of pushing my no two submissions rule, but I guess I'll allow it.
Well, mine's for Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Just make sure. Wookie Sasquatch. I don't know if you meant to submit.
There are definitely people in chat who have said they did not meant to enter twice. If it
okay, yeah. So I'm gonna assume positive intent and say that you didn't try to do it multiple times. So I'm gonna just delete.
Or they might be hoping to get an extendar also.
Yeah.
All right. I think I've got everybody. Oh, no, Wookie Sasquatch. Woo. I got you, bud. I got you. There's a lot of you in here. Let's see. Oh, my God. You're all throughout here, Wookie Sasquatch. One is enough. There we go. And all right, I think I got all the extra Wookie Sasquatches out of here. But I'm leaving you one. All right. Oop. Last chance. Definitive Toys. You're my last one. Here we go. I'm gonna show you me pasting these into the thing in real time, so you know there's no funny business here. I don't have time for funny business.
No?
No time. There we go. Make sure I got Definitive Toys. And
This is pretty awesome. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
It's just a lot of folks.
A lot of people want.
Hey, Stonehenge, I think only one exclamation mark is enough.
Really excited.
Well, is it an exclamation mark like just to kind of like help? Maybe he thinks like, oh, it'll more luck.
Like more characters, like it's like waiting the Pinewood Derby racer or something.
That's right.
All right, we have 315 people have entered. Only one can win. This is gonna look absurd. Holy moly, that's a lot of ducks. All right. May the best duck win. Here we go. All right, starting out, we've got Wiley Collector Comics, Tony Johnson, Sparts, and Chris Allen. And
you never want to see your name this early in the race.
No.
You want to be way in the back, way in the back. His comics is seeing that Mother Ducker. Yeah, you don't want to be early on right now. Eric McEvoy, Randall Guzik is here.
Dartherian in the middle of the pack coming up.
Ooh, yeah, look at that. Brick something jumping up as well, but still too early.
Yeah, still too early. It's the last 5 seconds that are going to tell you.
Yes. Who's making a sprint in the last 5? Brick something.
Who's gonna take Brick something down?
Yeah, hanging in there with his Santa hat. Frank. Gura's
PC glass.
Oh, slow down. Brick something is still in the lead.
Christopher Negri on the outside.
And
got it.
Oh! Christopher Negri.
That's a big win.
Wow. Congratulations.
And Chris is a long time watcher of the show too, so this is great.
He was just chatting 2 seconds ago.
So Chris, congratulations. Just shoot me an email. And make sure you have to confirm you were just in the chat.
He did, but he said "holy shit" and it got.
There you go. I think you saw it now. I've never been a winner. You're a winner tonight, Christopher. Epic. Dan, I'm sorry you didn't win. So
That's
sorry.
okay. That's okay. If I wanted, I just would have bought it.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, considering that there was enough for me to just walk in and buy it on Friday, hopefully that means there will be enough to buy online. It was limited to 1 per person, so hopefully that means
it's funny. Like if I had been there and it was like in the room with me, I would have bought it. But otherwise, I don't really want it because I'm just gonna get. I have the Hiss Tank Mickey Mouse one, and I'm just gonna replace that with the retro carded one. So who cares?
Yep. No, I feel the same way. I don't need it. So gave it away today. So yes, they're supposed to be coming up in the next week or so. Starscream, you are correct. That's what Emily said. All right, that is it for this episode. Dan Larson, what's going on your channel? What's the big episode on Secret Galaxy this week?
That's a very good question. What did we just shoot? Because we're building up. We're about to shoot our Halloween special, so we've been stacking up a couple of extra things. So I honestly don't even remember what we just shot. I know this week we're shooting our member exclusive video that'll be coming out at the end of next month. But I don't want to give that one away just yet. Otherwise, just make sure you check in to tune into Toy Geeks. Awesome. Yes, Toy Geeks this week will be episode 2 of our new mini series for Mask, and it's a fun little series. I think our special guest this week is Ken from Toy Connections. Will be our special guest for series 2, which I think turned out a lot better than I thought in my mind. Series 2 was for Mask. There's some really good sets in that year. So that'll drop on Tuesday. Dolers, you said you have Attack Peter joining you on Gotham City Tonight this week?
Yes, so that's on Wednesday nights. We'll have myself, Alex Brewer, Mr. Fantastic for himself. He is
part of the show. Can we just say like how great it was that Alex got so many flowers at Comic-Con this weekend? He was getting so much love. It was the best.
He's a rock star.
He is.
The dude's a rock star. And he's like one of the nicest people on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
He's an absolute sweetheart. So he's one of the hosts on Gotham City Tonight as well with me every Wednesday. So with Peter there, I expect everything to be completely derailed. And Alice will be there too because she's a fan of Peter's work. So she's like, I'm not missing that episode. So everyone will be on board for that one. And then the day before, of course, Tuesday night's Toy Anxiety with myself and the Yes Have Some Prime crew. And I guarantee you we're going to be talking for about an hour about the price of real Ghostbusters from Mondo. So expect to hear that entire conversation again, probably with more educated guesses from Craig, because I think Craig is I just feel like Craig is he gets himself more involved in this stuff than the rest of us. So, Craig's he's an ass, but he's an ass with a lot of knowledge. So it'll be really good. Plus, I'll probably bring up more of the Marvel Legends stuff we didn't talk about there as well. And same with the superhero Mondo stuff, the animated superhero stuff. So a lot
more things to check out. So, yeah, Toy Anxiety this Tuesday. And it was cool every time like Alex was mentioned or something. Either he said Gotham City Tonight or we were all saying Gotham City Tonight co-host. So Gotham City Tonight got there was a lot of people talking about it on the Comic-Con.
Awesome. Yeah, a lot of people were buying Wolverines. That was fun too.
We gave away Wolverine at the panel, the Toy Tubers Unite panel. So So anywho, that definitely stay tuned and check that out. Johnny Cock gave out 5 GDL family member memberships. So thank you, Johnny Cock, for doing that. So 5 of y'all
I got family.
got added to the GDL family. We do have an after dark today. I'm going to talk about my Comic-Con hauls, including things that I picked up for Mr. Ryan Doell that I found there on the floor. So, if you every year, my Comic-Con hauls is a free for everybody after dark. So head on over to Geek Dad Life 2. Everybody can watch. So you're either patron or not. This is your freebie. Go hang out over there. So the party doesn't stop here. It keeps going over on.
It was both. You were correct. Yeah, you were correct.
Go over there. And we'll have some more fun. But on this episode, we're going to close it out. Where is it? There we go. Thank you so much to Dan and Doell, Larson. And we'll see you all next time. Hasta luego. And goodbye.
Later.